This is the Rugby Muscle Podcast, talking all that you need to become the best rugby player you can be. Now here are the Rugby Muscle coaches, TJ and Alex.
When you try your best but you don't succeed, when you get what you want but not what you need,
that's what every strength and conditioning program out
when
there.
you feel so tired that you can't sleep,
Yeah.
stuck in reverse, when the tears come streaming down your
You get it? Because you get what you want but not what you need. They give you sessions that just beast you, but that's not what you need, because if you listen to the last conditioning podcast, you'd know that. Agree?
Right.
No?
Yeah. Well, I don't know what song that was, though. Yeah, but I don't know what song that was.
That doesn't matter. You heard that bit. This is a song. You know it yet?
No, I don't know.
So here we go. Yeah, Fix You by Coldplay. Why did I play that one?
Because we're going to fix everyone's movements today.
Yeah, we are.
At least the big ones.
This is us singing to you. Oh, hold on. I don't know if your sound's coming through. Say
Excellent.
hello.
What?
Oh, your sound is coming through. This is TJ, and this is the Rugby Muscle Podcast. I am joined, as always, by Alex. Say hi.
Happy holidays.
What holidays?
There's a holiday somewhere.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. We are here today to try and fix movements. Alex decided this was something that we needed to do. It was quite important, and I concurred. So we actually haven't written down exactly what movements we're going to go through, but we're going to try and go through quite a few common mistakes and how we can fix them within most guys' training programs, or specifically most of their lifts, right?
Yep.
Is that what we're doing?
That's absolutely. I was going to pick a few movements that are really important for rugby players to do. Ones that are done badly, we're going to go through maybe the top 3 errors they've got in them.
Yeah.
And
okay.
top 3 cues to fix those errors.
All right. But first,
It's time for the facts of the week.
So this week's Facts of the Week is inspired by one of my clients who's a freediver. Freediving is one of the most dangerous sports in the world.
yeah.
They have like a 2 rate.
To a what death
which
rate?
means that
Say again.
2 to 4% mortality rate.
Oh my god.
So, mate, that's crazy, right? That's like, and every time there's a match, someone from both teams, or someone out of both teams playing dying.
yeah.
Say you have 22 players inside, yeah, plus coaches. say 20
So break that
teams
down again, because
together.
you're still cutting up. So we had a match. There's 60 people on the pitch, right?
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone's going to die if you're freediving, essentially.
What? Just at
That's
one
bonkers.
point?
Pardon me?
That what is that in the lifetime participation of the sport, or what?
Over the year, the mortality rate was
Oh my god.
it's fucking crazy. So there's one study. I think it was there was 400, just over 400 accidents in freediving. Out of those 400 accidents, just over 300, I think 310, something like that, were fatal.
Jesus.
Man, it's fucking bonkers. Like this crazy. Anyway,
Makes sense though.
so that's
If you're free
that's my
diving
fact.
and one thing goes wrong, what's that one thing going to be?
Probably blacking out.
Yeah. Which means that you can't make it back to the surface.
Yeah, you just sink. You just disappear.
Wow, that's an interesting fact.
And a little bit morbid.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, so
I guess onto lifts now. Although
So the other week,
none of it seems
the other week,
to matter as much.
well, the people who do it know the risks.
Yeah.
Literally, it's all big boys, it's all grown-ups.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
Now, if it was people forcing kids to do it, then that'd be different, But if you're grown up, you're responsible for your own actions.
Fair enough.
Right. So, in one of the last few podcasts, we spoke about sport-specific training for rugby.
Yeah.
And how we said that specific movements are movements that's going to make you better at your sport.
Correct.
So today, if we're going to talk about fixing serves or fixing the most common problems in where these lifts are, I suggest we start out with what movements we think are most specific for rugby players and most rugby players will be doing.
Yeah. So, well, number one, to steal your thunder, squats. Or some type of squat.
Yeah, I do like a squat. That's cool. I think we're pretty safe to say squat, bench, deadlift are going to be coming up in people's programs.
Yeah, so we'll correct those three, and then we'll see how much time we're doing to correct more.
Sweet.
Yeah? Alright, cool. So, Alex, you're the squat king, so let's talk about squats.
I don't know if I get that far, but okay, so the biggest mistakes we see in squats, probably one of the most basic, we see people falling forward onto their toes, so squats with a raised heel. Mm-hmm. We see a rounded back quite a lot.
Yep.
Knee claps is quite a big one.
Cool.
And I don't know, what other ones do we see there?
Lack of
rounding
depth.
out at the bottom. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, did you say something? I think I caught you saying something, but I didn't hear
I
it.
said lack of depth, while you said round out at the bottom.
Oh, lack of depth. Yeah, that's a good one. I don't often think about that.
Often I see people say, oh yeah, check out my squat, I can squat 400 kilos, and then I'm like...
You serious?
a genuine reaction of mine when I see people squat sometimes.
That's awesome. I enjoyed that.
I thought you'd enjoy that.
Okay, so let's start with the depth one because that's probably the easiest to fix.
Yeah. How do we fix that, mate?
I don't know how you do it, but when I teach a squat, I go for my progression list and we start on a box and we lower the box until people are squatting to depth.
Yeah. Essentially, for the 90% of the people that squat shallow, the trick is going to be to make the weight lighter. Because if you're doing a real heavy weight, but you're not actually squatting, you're not training the movement, there's no point. You need to train the movement, which is going to create way more growth and way more strength. As long as, you should get at least breaking, or at least 2 parallel, would you say, from the thighs?
Yeah, I mean, there's a time and a place for high squats.
Yeah, but we're not talking about
it's pretty
high,
rare.
We're not talking about quarter squats, which you can use and will use and should use probably even for sprint training. But when we're talking a proper barbell back squat, you need to get some depth.
Yeah, there's no real excuse for that.
Cool.
Yep. Yeah, lighten the weight and everything else we're going to talk about will actually help out with that as well.
Yeah.
Because once you get the base right for the squats, the depth should come automatically.
Cool. What was the first one you said after that? Or the
I
first one you
said the heel raise and the squat.
Yeah. So we can. I think we can knock 2 birds out here if we address the knees caving in as well.
Yeah, so we talk about that. I'll refer to that as a valgus collapse because you can get a bed as well. But what I mean is the knees coming together in the squat. It makes me cringe.
Yeah,
so,
the knees need to track over the toes. Also, quickly, just a 10-second caveat here to say that if you're looking at like high-level weightlifters and stuff that actually actively drive their knees in, that's something different. But we're talking about a barbell squat to improve your strength. You shouldn't be driving your knees in; they should track over your toes.
But they have a controlled collapse. It gives them more VMO activation. We're not looking for that. We're essentially not Olympic level weightlifters. Yeah.
So your knee shouldn't cave in. So my easiest way to fix that, and I guess the way we can fix it for you guys on the podcast, is simply when you take your barbell or whatever out of the rack and you set up for your squat, try and picture screwing your feet to the ground. That's going to anchor your heels. So if you look at your feet as a triangle, and 3 points you need to anchor down is your big toe, your little toe, and your heel, and really try and picture screwing them in. And that should help your knees track over your toes and also help you stay on your heels in your squat.
Yeah, I'm going to expand on that a little bit.
Yeah.
That's essentially what I was going to say. I'd have a bit more depth on it. So, instead of just thinking about screwing them into the floor, I'd want people to actively spread their toes as far apart as possible, then try and grab the floor.
Yeah.
So you're kind of getting that squeeze in the arch of your foot as well.
Yeah.
And then twist out as you come down. So we should make sure that the twist goes from big toe to little toe.
Yeah.
We don't want anyone actively screwing the other direction, you know.
I want you to put this on Instagram, and by the time this is uploaded, we'll have this in the show notes on rugby-muscle.com.
I think I've already got it on my Instagram.
Excellent. Well, then we'll still link it to the show notes on rugby-muscle.com.
So,
I think also here you can help by not wearing crappy trainers. So if you've got lifting shoes, wear lifting shoes. If you don't, wear Vans or Chucks or barefoot.
any kind of shoe which hasn't got a cushioned sole.
Yeah.
So
Avoid,
ideally,
like,
lifting
Nike Air
shoes, when you
Max
look at the top squatters or the top raw squatters in the
Yeah.
I think it's 9 out of 10 of them. That's so we can say 80-90% of them wear a heel when they're squatting.
And then the other percent use
no need to worry about. Pardon me?
And the other ones use Converse.
Yes, they do. I was saying that I quite like the CrossFit shoes.
Yeah, they're nice.
But I just, I mean, they work well. They work well for me.
Anyway.
Yep, so that's cool. That covers those two. Pretty much what I was going to say. That should actually fix a whole host of issues as well. That should allow you to hip depth a bit easier.
Yep.
You'll hear a lot of people queuing knees out on squats.
I don't like that.
I don't like that cue.
No.
Yeah, I think probably for the same reason of you. That
shouldn't come from
knees
the
out
knee.
cue. Sorry, mate. What's
No, go ahead. I interrupted you.
that knees out cue is intended the same way as this rooting, kind of this drive your feet rotation into the floor.
Yeah.
As a way to create more torque in the hips. What actually happens is people tend to misinterpret it, and they drive their knees out too far, and it causes them to roll A onto the outsides of their foot, and B have this varus kind of collapse where your knees actually drift too far outwards and put you under strain in the knees.
Yep.
So while we're looking at screwing into the floor and creating extra stability, driving your knees out too much actually creates some instability as you roll over onto your foot, or the outside of your foot.
Cool. And then last one to fix our squats.
Yep.
I'd say.
So we had rounding over and tucking under. So having a concave back position or a back position flexion.
I think both of these are corrected by correct breathing and bracing.
Yep.
So if you go back a couple podcasts to where we talked about core training, Alex, you still haven't put your kettlebell drill up, but if you can learn to breathe in through to the belly, brace your core, pull that core real tight whilst every time you squat, that's going to help protect your back and stop it from rounding and doing all those funky things.
Yeah, I'd look at specific activation, bracing when I'm squatting or deadlifting. So that would be the sequence of movement there would be a really strong exhale.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd look at activating that transverse abdominis. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Breathe the whole way.
As hard as
Then,
you can.
Yeah, it is hard. Then you need to hold that contraction. So you need to hold that breath out and then breathe in as hard as you can to fill your belly up. That will feel real tight as it is. That gives you a really big intra-abdominal pressure. So, same way as you would when you're lifting belts.
Yep. And actually, like, that's a lot better than wearing a belt. And then when you come to use a belt, you can use it better. I see so many people using belts incorrectly. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how you can use them right, chaps.
Yeah, and there's extra ab work as well.
Yeah.
And then once you've got that big breath inhaled, so you're pushing out against that TVA, last final tense, and then initiate your squats.
Mm-hmm.
That should, along with keeping the bar tight into your back, keep you upright and keep your back flat.
Yeah.
I'm actually not a proponent of putting the bar on a shelf on your back. I think it should be close to your spine, but either or.
You're a fan of high bar back squatting rather than low bar?
No, I think that when you put the bar on the shelf, it creates a bigger x-axis, so it has the bar further away from your centre of gravity.
Mm-hmm.
It's sat back on your shoulders.
Yeah.
Whereas if you pull the bar around your back, inches closer to your centre of gravity,
interesting.
and the numbers just kind of add up a bit better. Because you know when you have that big x-axis, say like a lateral raise or a front raise is quite difficult because the lever's so long. It's the same idea as that, but with more weight and less distance.
I agree.
Yeah, so I say the bar should be wrapped around the body close to the spine, but whatever way you're doing it, we're not trying to powerlift here.
Cool. All right, deadlift.
Deadlift, so the biggest thing we see on deadlift is that rounding of the back, which is just gross. I see the bar drifting away from the body quite a lot.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say.
Which I dislike.
And hitching.
Finishing
Another one.
Oh yeah, hitching's bad.
Yeah.
Hitching just means the weight's too heavy. And I see people finishing with lift to their back and not their glutes.
Yes. Cool.
Yeah, and that's an awful one. Like people, I do it now and again. Still.
Oh, really?
So I think those are the big ones there.
Yeah. I'd also say squatting too low for it, like turning it into a squat.
Changing lift from us. Yes, yeah, I think that's fair.
So let me just address that one real quick. So I think we must have said before about the deadlift is a hip movement, it's a hip hinge rather than a knee movement like a squat. So the two movements should look distinctly different, right? So you should set up with only, like, you do need a knee bend, but it's only a slight knee bend comparison to a squat. You shouldn't squat down to it. Hips should be way above the knees, right?
Is that an actual question?
Yeah.
I say it depends what you're trying to achieve.
So go on.
So, if you're only concerned about lifting the most weight,
Yeah.
then you pick whatever stance lets you lift the most weight.
Yeah.
If you're concerned about working specific body parts, so like we're training the hamstrings around the hip,
Yeah.
the hamstrings around the hip for rugby, then you need to deadlift in a way which allows that to happen.
Yep. Cool. I'd also say, so to correct this, like, we want our hips. Okay, so there are very small times where you may start your lift with your hips below your knees, but rarely is that the case. Now, I would say that this doesn't apply to us as rugby players. I think we need to start with our hips at least in line with our knees, if not higher. And for tall guys, that can be a problem. And so I'd like to see tall guys sometimes lifting from like blocks and stuff. That's an easy correction to make. So if you're above 6'2", your body, you just have to get used to the fact that your body isn't designed to deadlift as well as or as easy as shorter guys. So you can, like, the weights are significantly like lower for you. So simply just go onto blocks. That should help get the movement much better.
Yep.
Easy fix.
Yeah, in terms of that start position, I find if you deadlift with a bench behind your shins, and keep you at the back of your shins, your calves touching the bench,
Yeah, I've seen that.
you'll end up with that high hip.
Cool. What was the next one you wanted to correct? Let's correct a lot of these within one foul swoop.
Yeah, I mean that will do a lot. That's quite a nice cue, that one. We see that rounded back position.
Yep.
That can follow the same bracing pattern as squats.
Yeah, I agree.
And on top of that, I like people to think about pushing the floor away rather than trying to stand up.
Yeah. See, I always think it's a bit of a misnomer. It's like the wrong word to call a deadlift a pull. because it's not. It's like you're pushing your feet into the ground.
You've been reading Christian Thibodeau's article on T Nation from about 5 years ago.
No, I've been talking to Dr. Mike Zildos.
Oh, that would do it as well, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a push. It's not a pull. You're pushing your feet into the ground to initiate the movement.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good cue. It kind of makes people click a little bit better.
Yeah. So we can just break this down into two movements. If we look to the first one is getting the bar to your knees, and that's pushing your feet through the ground, and then you're aggressively squeezing your glutes to stand you up. Right. That automatically breaking the deadlift down into the two movements there is going to correct. It's definitely going to correct most of those errors.
Yeah, I think that's going to fix a ton of that stuff actually.
That should stop you from lifting it with the back particularly, and the hitching, because that drive from the glutes, once you've got the bar to your knees, as long as you've got strong enough glutes, that drive from the glutes is going to stand you up. I'm sorry about me receiving that message.
Well, I will say the other one was keeping the bar close to the body. This comes from people not bracing properly, not getting the lats engaged. Mm-hmm. So as you initiate the lift, a lot of people will let the bar swing forward, which puts a big shear force in the lower back, which we're not fans of. Whereas if you keep the bar close to your body, that x-axis is decreased and you get a lot less shear force, and it's a lot easier to lift. So if you keep your lats real tight and then you're not kind of pulling them backwards,
so you're trying to
downwards,
pull the slack out of the bar before you lift. So your back
that's
should be real tight. You're pulling. You should feel the tension in your back and through your arms, and especially in your hamstrings before you start the lift. That's going to correct the last few errors, right?
Yeah. What I will say to finish this little bit of deadlifting off is you can fix all of these pretty easy by just using hex bar. That bit of kit's awesome.
You need just to marry a hex bar, I think, mate. It's getting too much now.
Mate, hex bars and safety bars. Like, I don't know why a lot of gyms have straight bars, to be honest. Unless you're going to lifting or powerlifting. If you're just like a community gym, you don't really need straight bars.
No, I'd say straight bars are easily used across a number of different exercises, that's why. So shut up. Next one, bench press.
Yeah, the bench press. Okay. This is probably the least important one, I think, for rugby players. I think I'm not even 100% rugby players should be doing a bench press.
No, okay, but we can talk about horizontal pressing, so either with dumbbells or on an incline or whatever, because a lot of the time we're going to come up with the same errors.
Yep. So, my biggest thing I see on this is putting the shoulder under excess tension. So what I mean by that is either the elbows drift too close to perpendicular to the body.
Yeah, they flare out.
So your elbows kind of stretch. Yep. Or the depth is too much.
Ooh. Okay, cool. And then
I don't like seeing people dumbbell press or bench press with that like excessive range of movement.
Yeah, and my last one for this would be not keeping the body tight, so like picking your feet up off the ground.
Yeah, if your foot slips out when you're doing it, you're not tight enough, and it's a no lift as well.
Yeah, we're not worried about no lift, but we're worried about keeping the body tight.
Yep. So, in terms of curing that back tightness, which we're talking about elbow flare.
Yeah.
I actually do two things here. One, I get people to squeeze tennis balls between their lats and their arms the whole time when they're benching.
Yeah. This reminds me of when I was a kid and I used to visit my nonna. She would make me put books under my arms when I ate, so that I didn't flare my elbows out when I'd eat. Yeah, no, to keep my elbows in, so that I'd eat with my arms in.
My granddad used to whack us.
Because this is my nonna, and this is like the manners, the Italian manners that when you're at the table, you should keep yourself to yourself. You shouldn't like have your arms flaring out everywhere and stuff. So she'd literally put books under my arms and make sure I'd eat properly. Now,
wait, well, I didn't know you had Italian. I thought you had Polish, mate.
Yeah, I'm both. But anyway,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she used to put these under my arms, and I used to have to eat, and I'd have great table manners. Fast forward to today, and I eat like a complete slob, and just because of the
Just
sheer
have a
volume
trough
of food
in
I
front
want
of
to
you.
eat. Yeah, like with a big spoon. But anyways, even though I do that, I do still keep my elbows in, and it pisses me off every single time I sit next to someone that puts their elbows out. So then, and then when they do it when they're benching, that pisses me off even more. So yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
Put something under the arms. Obviously,
Yeah, just
when you're correcting like all three of these movements, you're going to have to like hugely lighten the weight, and that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to get stronger. It just means you're going to get a better pattern. Hold on, here comes the time. It means that you're going to get a better pattern and therefore have more potential to create more strength.
yeah. I mean, it doesn't. All it means is you might just do some sets for higher reps.
Yeah.
You know, like so you.
So anyway,
You
yeah,
teach
especially this one. If we look at this one and we look at the squatting where people aren't squatting to depth, you are going to have to completely like check your ego and make that weight like significantly lighter. But what you've got to understand is what you're doing is a different movement from before, and what we're trying to do is a way more productive movement.
Absolutely. Okay, so in terms of depth and cueing that, just get someone to watch you. If
Yeah.
you go too far past your shoulders on the way down, get them to tell you, or you can floor press, which I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, I like floor pressing, and I like trying to like hold the bottom for a second and then explode up as fast as you can.
Yeah,
Quite a good
I think
isometric.
those pause reps are legit.
Yeah, they're good. And then what was my one? Oh yeah, the planting the feet. It's just that's a simple cue as well. You just have to make sure that your feet are like, again, with with all three of these movements, you want to almost screw your feet into the ground, make sure they're there.
Yeah, I'd say
Squeeze.
same routine cue.
Yeah,
Sure.
same breathing cue. And you just want to squeeze the glutes throughout the movement. You can really try and drive from the hips if we're talking rugby specificity, because we're not looking at competing in a powerlifting meet. Which means
I'd look at that breathing pattern as well. If you can extend your belly, like get that pressure all the way through, and kind of work your obliques a little bit in there as well,
yeah, so
you're
if
going to have
really
a lot more drive from your legs going through your arms.
Yeah, man, and that's going to help you transfer to the rugby pitch much better as well.
Yeah, hugely. Like if we can learn to hold this brace while we're breathing, and then move it onto a sports kind of environment, you're going to look at a much better transfer of power.
Cool. All right, guys. So we've analysed those three movements. We'll look at some more movements in the future, but for now, probably our next podcast is going to be a quick fire Q&A. We're going to see how many questions we can get through and answer within 20 minutes. So what I'd like you to do is I'm going to create a post on Instagram and Facebook on tj.strength. Ask any question there, and we will get through as many as we can in the next episode. Alex, do you want to do the same thing, and we can see how many we can blast through
I'll put it on my Instagram.
at Collision on Combat.
Yep.
Whilst you're doing all of this stuff, go ahead and visit rugby-muscle.com and download your conditioning guide. That way you make sure you will never miss a podcast from us. And if you are enjoying it, just take a couple seconds out of your day and give us a 5-star review on iTunes. And if you do that, Alex is going to read them out live on the pod next time.
You haven't seen me link. I've got no idea how to check that.
I know, that's why it's a good troll. Right, guys, I think that's it.
Safe.
Alright, see you later.